Hey, it's Misa Findley here. I wanted to share some things with you today about mindset and how we talk to ourselves, because what we hear in our brains affects everything around our lives. I was thinking about when my daughter was little. She was probably only 2, maybe 3. And we lived in a home where in my bedroom we had closet doors that had full-length mirrors from top to bottom covering these closet doors, and I hated them. I hated them with a passion. My husband thought they were wonderful. It made our room look big, but I just hated it because every time I walked into my bedroom, I was larger than life. And so I would leave the closet door open so at least I'd only see one mirror. And even though my closet was totally open, and I would rather see the mess in my closet than see myself as I walked into the room. So one day I was walking past my bedroom and I noticed my little daughter standing in front of the mirror, and she didn't see me, but what she was doing just caught my attention, and I stopped and I watched her for probably almost 10 minutes. She was looking in the mirror and she was just going like this. I'm so beautiful. I'm so pretty. And she did this over and over and over, and I just was mesmerized by what she was doing. And as I watched her, I felt so many emotions. I felt a little bit of jealousy, actually, because I couldn't do that. I felt sad because I thought, in a few years, this won't happen. She's going to hate herself and not want to look in the mirror just like me. And the longer I watched her, the more sad and the more down I became. And I never did tell her I was there. Years down the road, I started thinking about this, and our subconscious is so amazing because our subconscious teaches us, well, first off, our subconscious records everything that has ever happened in our lives, every emotion we felt, every smell, every physical thing, every conversation, everything is recorded in our subconscious, and we start building belief systems based on our experiences that we've had in life. Now, those belief systems may or may not be true, but it's what's true for us based on our experiences. So I've learned that the subconscious has 2 jobs. First thing it does, here's our subconscious. First thing it does is keep us alive. And thank goodness for that. We don't have to think about digesting our food or our heart pumping blood through our body and breathing and blinking and all those things that just automatically happen. Our subconscious takes care of that. It keeps us alive and functioning. The other thing the subconscious does is it keeps us comfortable. My board is shaking all over the place. There we go. It keeps us comfortable. The thing about this is, based on that belief system, it wants us to be comfortable. So when we want to try something new, it says, that's scary. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Now for me, I realized just a few years ago that the reason I didn't like looking in the mirror is because I hated what I saw. I hated myself. I hated who I'd become. I wasn't happy with the way I was living my life. I wasn't happy with the way I was raising my children. I hated looking in the mirror. And my subconscious was like, well, that's not comfortable. So what it told me was, no, you don't look in the mirror because that's a prideful thing to do. Yeah, people who look in mirrors are prideful, and you are not that way. So that kept me comfortable. That worked for my belief system. It wasn't true, though. And when I finally realized what I was doing, I was able to start working through those things that were making me hate myself, so that several years later, I can now look in a mirror and like what I see and be okay with it. And nothing physically has changed. It was totally just a mental thing. Negative self-talk. I recently read a study that was done, actually there's been lots of studies done on the brain and how negativity affects our brain. And through MRI studies, scientists have been able to figure out what parts of the brain are activated when we have negative versus positive thoughts. So every person has about, they say, up to 60,000 thoughts a day. And of those 60,000, they estimate that 70 to 80% of them are negative. There's our thoughts. 70 to 80% negative thoughts. And 90% of your thoughts are exactly what you thought yesterday. So if we get in this pattern of negativity on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, what is this doing to us emotionally, mentally, physically? It affects everything. It affects who we are. It affects the people around us. This has to change. It has to change. We can't keep living these negative lives and creating this negativity that's around us. And you see it. I know you see it. Whether you see it in other people, sometimes it's easier to recognize it in others than it is in ourselves, but it's definitely there. So what do? How do we change this? Can we change this? Absolutely. The greatest thing about our minds and our brains is that they can change. They are flexible, they are movable. We can create new neural pathways every single day. We have to work at it though. So we have to kind of trick that subconscious. We have to get out of that comfort zone and say, it's okay to try new things. We're going to try some new things. We got to let the old go. So here's my suggestions. The first thing we need to do to be able to change this is to recognize. We have to be aware. We have to listen to what kind of thoughts are going through our mind every single day. Because if we don't recognize the thoughts that are there, we're not going to be able to change anything. So the best way that I have learned to be able to recognize what kind of thoughts are going through our mind is to just write them down, to keep track. So you'll want to get a notebook. I would say a piece of paper, but in my experience, most people have more than just one page of negative thoughts. So get a notebook. If you can, carry it with you every day, all day long. And every time you have any kind of negative self-thoughts, write them down. Any negativity that comes in your brain, as soon as you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Most of the time it's negative. So write it down. As soon as you wake up, start writing those thoughts down. You're going to do this for at least a week, longer if you can. So divide your paper in half and make 2 columns. Okay, here's where you're going to write your negative thoughts. So first thing in the morning, you wake up and you say, I hate my life. Then you're going to write it down. Maybe you're going to say or think, I don't like my job. I don't want to go to work. It could be so many things. It could be, I'm fat. I'm ugly, etc., etc., etc. So many negative thoughts go through our brains. All right, here's your list of negativity. This is the best way to become aware. It's ugly, but it will help you recognize what's going through your mind. I had no idea how many negative thoughts were coming through my mind until I started writing them down. It's pretty amazing how many are there. Then, on the other side, you're going to write the opposite. Now, I love this. I got this idea from my mentor, Kirk Duncan, and it has truly changed my life. You're going to write the opposite of the negative thought. So, instead of I hate my life, I love my life. Now, because we don't just want to cancel out this negative, we actually want to put us in the positive, you're going to add another thing on the positive side. I love my life, and if you can, include something positive about your personal appearance, okay? I love my life, and I have a great smile. And you're going to do this for every single negative thing that you have, okay? Instead of I don't like my job, I like my job, and I'm excited to go to work. I'm glad that I can provide for my family. Instead of I'm fat, I'm healthy. Now if you can't look in the mirror and say I'm thin, because your subconscious will be going, no you're not, then say something you can. I'm healthy. I treat my body well. I like the way I look. Something that is on the positive. Create those positive sides. Now at the end of the day, you are going to take this side and tear it off completely. We don't want this. Rip that whole side of the notebook off, get rid of it, destroy it, crumple it up, shred it, tear it, burn it, whatever you need to do to get rid of that negativity. And then you're going to read through all your positives before you go to bed and first thing when you get up in the morning. If you will do this every single day, I promise you can absolutely change your thoughts and change who you are. Let me talk just for a minute about these I am statements, like I am fat. The words I am mean to create. Every time you use an I am before you say something, you are creating that. And if you say that every day, every week, every month, every year, even if you are trying to lose weight, and every day you look in the mirror and you say, I'm fat. Let's go. Subconscious says to yourself, I'm fat. Well, then why are we trying to live this diet? Let's go get donuts. And that's what takes over your mindset, because you've been telling yourself every day, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that. That rhymed. I am. What are you trying to create? What do you want your mindset to be? So my challenge to you is to do this for at least a week, if not longer, and see what kind of changes come in your life. What are you able to be aware of? How can you change your mindset? How can you change your life? You can learn to love and embrace who you are. Good luck.